So, as you all know, I'm currently writing a novelized version of the Man in the Suit analog core that is still being typed out. Well, at the same time, I'm also working on other projects, like right now, The Ghost of the Granbell Manor. But while I was working on the film last night, I was interrupted by the release of yet another episode of The Man in the Suit, the Ghidorah Suit Incident. Fans of the series have been waiting for this specific episode for a couple months now, so it was only fair that I watch the premiere. I mean, to be fair, I do all my stop motion on the ground, so it kind of hurts my back at times, so I needed a break. After watching the episode though, I decided to take down notes on how I should finish out the novel. And by finish out, I mean just finish out whatever chapter I was working on now, including the Ghidorah Suit Incident with it. But taking down notes, I realized that there is now such a major difference between the novel I'm working on and the analog horror itself, which is why I made this video. This is not the channel What's the Difference. This is a fan-made What's the Difference between the Man in the Suit analog horror and the fan novel that I am currently writing. Let's start with the analog horror. The analog horror focuses on the timeline of the production of the first several Godzilla films of the Showa era at Toho Studios, and how a desperate employee is looking for answers on what this thing is. And that's the same timeline from my novel, except we get more in-depth on the character himself, while in the analog horror, the main character's identity is completely classified. In the analog horror, we've gotten to the point in the series where we figure out that the main character wants to kill this thing at all costs. Meanwhile, in my novel, the main character Alex feels somewhat sympathetic for the Man in the Suit because he literally witnessed what he's been through. Our anonymous character in the series, on the other hand, did not witness this event at all, and instead got his information about it from some unknown source. In the novel, Alex seeks alliances with producer Tanaka and director Ishiro Honda to unravel this mystery. In the series, the main character does not seek any alliances with anybody in the studio because he doesn't trust what the company is doing. His two alliances are with an anonymous friend who loaned him one of the tapes, and a school teacher who provides their theory on how the Man in the Suit grew to become the suit in the first place. In the novel, Alex visits the Man in the Suit often, and even talks about his personal life with him. Our anonymous character in the series, on the other hand, only ran into the Man in the Suit 3 times. First time being on set of King Kong vs. Godzilla, where he's being chased down the dark hallways by him. A second time during the filming of Mothra vs. Godzilla, where the Man in the Suit attacks both the child actor of the larvae suit and her 2 parents. And the third time, most recently, where he was chased down in the corridors once again and shot the Man in the Suit in the head, to where we learn that the Man in the Suit can regenerate. Now let's talk about that part for a second. When I saw the Ghidorah Suit Incident, I immediately thought to myself, I don't want to change my novel to where Alex suddenly hates the Man in the Suit and wants to kill him. But I still want to incorporate this scene. So instead, in the novel, the Man in the Suit does chase Alex down the corridors, but a different Toho employee brings the shotgun to the studio. Because everyone in the studio who works on these films knows about the Man in the Suit, and some of them have grown to be pretty unsettled by this, and think that they should kill him off so this nightmare ends once and for all. But then again, in the novel, the Man in the Suit shows signs of sympathy and reassurance towards the characters, to where he becomes basically the studio's mascot and good friend to Alex. In the analog horror, on the other hand, we don't see any of this. We just see the Man in the Suit acting like some sort of animal, who is being misused by the studio's employees. Not once in the analog horror does the Man in the Suit show any signs of being human at all. Except for rage when shown in the tape where he talks about his anger towards the Americans. But that's about all that we get from his human side. In the novel, it's incorporated that the Man in the Suit has a split personality, where one side he's the kind, loving man that he was before he turned into this abomination, and the other half to where he's a complete demon. A seed of evil that's trying to create an army of these other suit abominations. Kind of think of it like Norman Bates in the movie Psycho. I don't know, I just wanted a Psycho reference in there, okay? Then again, there are some minor signs of a split personality in the Analog Horror series, because the man in the suit cooperates with the employees every time they shoot part of the film, and only goes bonkers when he's trying to bite one of the actors towards the end of filming. But we can't even be too sure of all this, because then again, this is an analog horror, and it's up to us to really theorize what in the world is going on in this series. Which is how I'm writing my novel. The novel has its own take on it to where we sort of get a wholesome ending towards the story, while also incorporating all the major events featured in the Analog Horror series. The Analog Horror series was created, on the other hand, because the creator of it didn't think Godzilla was getting much justice as an analog horror icon, so he created this story to sort of show everybody that you could pretty much turn anything into an analog horror and it'll still work. But then there have been times where it hasn't worked. You don't see a King Kong analog horror getting 1 million views, because The Man in the Suit is also one of the few analog horrors that are based off a popular culture reference. All of the other ones have just been original stories. So, what conclusion can we make based off the book and the series? They're pretty much the same, but the book has a more wholesome tale on it than the series does. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and if you want to see an audiobook of chapters 9 through 12 of the novel I'm still making, please stay tuned. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.